Okay, she's
Hi.
unmuted.
There
Hi.
Yeah.
we go.
Good
Hi,
morning. You can.
Nargis.
Hi. Good morning, Dale. How are you?
Good. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back, actually.
Yeah, I'm very interested in looking at your charts. So,
Yeah.
the green screen share box will
Yes.
give us your looks. Here we go.
You.
Wow.
You can see, right?
Yeah, we have this megaphone formation. Interesting look. So, take it away and tell us what you're seeing. And aren't these rallies, the recoveries in these markets, just amazing from what happens? How the market sentiment can shift in 3 days.
Yeah. So that's what actually I was looking at the chart weekly, basically a little bit higher
Yes.
time frame because it's a little bit more cleaner than the daily.
Okay.
And I was seeing here. See this January we had, right?
Yeah.
This whole run from this straight line, and then we got a pullback here, and that was like, okay, the world is ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got this pushback, pull down, and then it was a little bit gradual run, and kind of a new high it made. And then we had the December pullback, which was a little bit more sharper and below and lower than this basically.
Yeah.
And then we had another recovery, V-shaped recovery, which was a little bit sharper than this one. Then we had a new high, and this fall was much sharper and lower than this.
Yeah.
And we had a V recovery, which is this V is much sharper than this V.
Yeah.
So every time we are falling down much sharper and making lower, and then recovering that fast with a more sharper V than the previous one. So
That's a
the V
great
is getting
observation.
V
Yeah.
is getting narrower. So, looking at this pattern from the past 3 or 4 times, you know, maybe who knows? This goes like this, and then like this.
Yeah.
So that is one anticipation we can look for if this all-time high is taken out. That could be a possible scenario in the future. If the extensions are to be taken into account somewhere around 3700, 3500 to 3700s, somewhere in early next year, or first half of the next year. If we do get to all-time high around those extensions above this, then who knows, we may get to 1800, 1500, or 1200, depending on where we are, if this megaphone is still true you know
Okay. All right. So, nice observation, beautiful formation. So, your blue line was also a megaphone until it
yeah.
cut through it. I was using that line.
Yes.
I believe it was 3190 or something. And once we fell back in it, we crashed. So we're back inside the blue one. What would give you confirmation that this is a failing rally, and we're not going to go to new highs? What would the market have to print
I
for?
think
Go ahead.
uh, in my opinion, currently we are this yes, around below 2785, around, which will bring it down below the cloud, back
Okay.
again in this area here,
Uh-huh.
uh, closing down here on a weekly basis. um, we would say, okay, this possibility is a little bit more than this possibility.
Yeah. And that would be
So
the first time that we did not make a higher high in this
yes, yeah, so
formation.
it, yes, so it could be an, something like this. Oops. Something like this, like an H pattern coming down,
Yeah.
or N or something.
Or even
uh,
just pull back maybe halfway before it makes the launch for the upper megaphone line.
yes, so somewhere, I was hoping that it would at least this time, but it's a fantasy. to come down to at least 50%, or if not here, or at least to 27.85 here. But
Yeah.
it only did, 236. That's like,
Right.
hardly anything. But then
Yeah.
also we had like a world-ending thing past 2 days. People get spooked so fast, like, but nobody gets spooked when all this is happening. So I guess the sharp rallies causes, or maybe the also causes the downwards as sharp as the move up. So it shouldn't surprise as such, after seeing all this, that something like that can happen. Mentally we should be prepared now to see such severe moves up or down, both sides.
Yeah. So that this is one of the most difficult patterns to trade. It's also, besides a megaphone, called a broadening top, not a broadening bottom, but a
Mm,
broadening top formation, which implies, it's a topping formation. It's just, you never know when you're not going to get that recovery. And we've taken out the top line, the blue line.
yeah,
Maybe one day, hopefully not, we have a throw under that lower red line.
yeah.
Okay, so what else is on the radar?
So the way I was looking at it is, we went down, we made a high, we made a low here, sorry,
Yeah,
2174. So
yeah,
my number for a cycle was 2209. We undercut a little bit, which
nice.
generally happens. Either it undercuts or overcuts by approximately 25% within the value. So here 3365 was my number to turn back. Last time when we talked, I think it was just before a week, the action started happening.
Okay,
Uh, this was from the last time we had discussed. So to 3365, and it was approximately here. And from there, I was expecting a cycle turn, and I was expecting somewhere around 3125 to where we are right now, 3137 or 3025. But it happened much faster and much sharper and far, far much below than that. So one of the observation which I have noticed is that uh, the markets, or I very closely track ES, is that it does 2 or 3 cycles at a time without stopping.
okay,
So this
right,
is, so it did 3365 and fell here right on the megaphone line, which does the 10 cycles. So without stopping, it did the 10 cycle, and from here to here, 3249, which I was tracking, it also did the 10 cycle, and we did get a reaction here, even
okay.
though much smaller as compared to this move in terms of a retracement. Um, but nonetheless, we did get a reaction.
Are you
So
tempted to short this market back at the broken trend line? I mean, we may be a shade above it right now, but
yes, I shorted right at 32 20s,
mhm,
because as I was saying, it generally undercuts or overcuts within 25% of that number. I don't know how these, I don't know, algos or whoever they are design it, but they keep a little bit of element of surprise. So I was watching this area very, very closely. If it hit 3249 properly, then yes, that would be a short. But I started building some short positions around this and exited some longs, and shorted Apple, shorted what was that, Nvidia,
how
I mean
about like
XP.
how about with today's action? What do? Nothing?
Today's action, I had a, generally with these sharp moves, I'm mostly dealing with the XPX credit spreads. So I had
Okay.
some put spreads, which I think are worthless now. So I'll just exit that and see if it tries to turn around 3145, 3165, just for a pullback. I may short that, and either via a credit spread, or just maybe just via ES future to pull back down some.
Okay.
Basically just returning to the mean on a smaller time frame. And then we
Okay.
see. But if the
Okay.
day closes above this line, this blue line, 10 SMA,
Yeah.
then we definitely going a little bit more higher, at
Yeah.
least up till here. And then we see whether it has any more interest to shoot up and, go further than that.
Yeah, I know some people were looking for 3260. I don't think you have a number there. I do have a question from our viewers. How does Nargis calculate her cycles?
This is GAN,
Okay.
I've been studying GAN, still a student of it. So mostly I'm doing price cycles on it. Time I'm still studying because the current times which we are in, the sharper moves are kind of, at least me personally, since maybe I haven't gone to that level as other people who may have studied time for a longer time. Uh,
Hmm.
it it's still a little bit of a tricky thing to say whether the time is the turning time is here or here, because of these very very sharp, the FOMO is a lot there. So
Hmm.
I don't know, the higher cycle takes over and the actual time which we are seeing, it doesn't work, or it's not working at the time it's supposed to work, let's put it that way.
I do you have a spider chart? I'm wondering, and
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it did leave that island. See that island right there? Okay,
Yes,
so
here,
we don't
this one.
know, based upon because they're not open yet, if they're going to fill that gap or not. That's going to be a pretty key test. So the market could get into the gap. If it doesn't fill it, it's still a pretty rare formation.
Yes, this, so we may be having a double island here. This got it down, and now this, we will be gapping right into the gap,
oh my
somewhere
God.
around 316. Yeah, so this is
Oh, to
just at the
fill it
lower,
won't fill it though. It fills it at 18,
probably,
right?
yes. If it is an island, then probably it may not fill it,
Yeah.
or at least it may not come down and fill this downside right away.
Okay. All right. So
So
we're going to see if the S&Ps are an island or it was just, peninsula. So something else that since you study GAN, I'm curious, and then we'll go to this chart. The low of the move from the
uh,
February break, did you notice was on the first day of spring?
which chart you were saying,
Right here, the
SPY or,
S&Ps, yeah,
oh, okay.
any of them, they all bottomed the
Oh,
same time
yeah,
in
they all
March.
actually, yes, yeah.
See that
Yes,
in
so,
March?
yes, so March,
The low,
uh,
the
this
low of the
is,
move.
yes, so as you say, those four seasons which we have,
Yeah,
the equinox and the solstice.
coming up.
So
Yeah,
in late December, I had tweeted, okay, the energy would be coming in because we'll be shifting the seasons.
yeah,
And March again, we got it. And March, April, May, June now, right? Again.
yeah.
So,
Solstice next in
so
5 days. So
next in 5 days, yes.
my thesis or guess is we bottomed on March 23rd, which was the equinox, and that this rally has lasted through the spring.
Spring, yes.
And let's see what happens with summer. If we have a long, hot summer, we'll see what happens to the market there. So I was wondering if you had any credence. You've read about GAN saying that cycles are important. Sometimes the seasons could provide turning points.
Yes, definitely a turning point, at least right now, to at least give a reaction.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how strong or shallow reaction we may get, but a reaction nonetheless. So like here at 10th cycle, when it completed it, and 10th cycle have been proving a little bit more powerful, especially on ES and in NQ as well, because NQ 10,000,
Yeah.
right there we got a big reaction, and I was waiting for that. So a reaction nonetheless. So here we got, let's just assume that suppose this is a shallow reaction and this does takes the high out. So 3249 is the 10th cycle, and let's say give it a little bit of 50% to say, if it wants to overshoot. So 32.49, so 32, little bit under 3300, 3307, I think so.
Okay.
Why to guess? I have written it down here.
Okay. You're a hardworking technical person, Nargis.
Yeah, so
You do
see,
a lot
so
of work.
yeah, so 32.49 to 3307, the upper level of, the bull trap number, let's say that.
Okay.
Uh, and if it starts trading above here, then we say that this thing is going to 20 cycles. And that may bring us somewhere to 3700 to 4K
Okay.
based on the numbers. So
That's what a lot of
that,
the bulls are looking for.
yeah, so that may prove this theory of, hitting that upper trend line one more time.
Yeah.
And then who knows, this may still be true, this may still become true, if it follows this pattern from the past.
Okay.
So because remember when 2200 happened somewhere here, uh, the what I was looking for was, you know we tested until here, right? The
Yeah.
breakout of this area. And from right here, we bounced back, and now we are all in good territory, and the monthly chart is all good. And this thing, we never traded below the cloud here. But if that megaphone works out the way it has worked out in the past, then who knows? Next time it may, this low will be taken out, and we may land here or here. This
Yeah.
is this is the area which was not never tested. It never came down
Yeah.
to test this. So this is one big thing which may take us down to, oh my God, 1500s somewhere, 1500s, NQ in 5000s, or Dow also similar number.
Yeah. Those were
So
important tops. Those the 2000.com and the 2008 financial crisis. That
yeah,
1500
so
level.
yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere 5000 and YM, um, similar, all
Okay.
these, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just a theory until it works out, but yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
I was just, I'm like closely tracking that megaphone, how it works out. So that 3249, 3307 area would be a little bit, those are the things I'll be watching for, what the markets wants to do in terms of, you know, turning down or turning up.
Okay. And we're halfway through the month of June, looking at your monthly chart here. So a
Yeah.
candle, you don't know what kind of candle you're going to have until it closes, and that'll be month's end.
Yes. So
Right.
here, see, we did have a sharp recovery, and this was the deciding point.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you're just plainly looking at the monthly 10 SMA, this month of May closed above this 10 SMA, and
Yeah.
June had a big rush because I was looking for, since and I think I tweeted about it also, that okay, we had the month of May close above 10 SMA, so expect higher. And that's when it confirmed for me that this would go to 3249 area, complete the 10 cycle. And also this also completed, I think, 80% or 82% of the extension. That also brings it to 3250 area here, and that
Okay.
matches with the cycle number as well. So kind of a little bit of confluence in terms of numbers. And we it just a little bit below that 3231, it turned down. It tested this 10 SMA. I mean, today we are up, but if you'd
Yeah.
seen it yesterday, it was just touching this line.
Hmm. Yeah.
20, it went a little bit lower as well, 29, and then it came back up. On weekly also, it did the test. So come on. Yeah, it tested the 10 SMA
Okay.
and then back up. Now it's all above here. If the week closes here, then actually there is, at least there is no reason to say that we'll get a sharp pullback right away, but that's still possible. uh,
Under
these
this week's lows, there's problems, though,
Yeah,
right?
so under this
Okay.
week's low it would be a problem, and above these highs, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
So we'll
Okay.
watch this candle how it does on probably next week or so, in with respect to this candle how it does.
Okay. So are you working with a group of people? You still mentoring or collaborating? Tell us what you're
Yeah.
doing besides trading your own account.
So, I get a lot of requests that, how this is working, that is working. So, I had, so I said, okay, as this is a lonely business as well, trading all alone. So I had started a Discord channel,
Okay.
and some folks who were interested joined. So we discuss whatever I tweet. We discuss a little bit more detail on that. What's happening, why it is there. I put out my trades, what I take. Any people who have their setups, they ask, what do you think this will do, or what do you think this stock will do, or something like that. And then
Right.
it's a little bit, some people have, they were very, very new or didn't know technical analysis. They've learned a little bit more. So I feel, I personally feel happy that, um, the other folks are also benefiting out of this information. And I
Okay.
also get to learn something, to look at things from a different perspective. Or sometimes I'm like, I'm just doing my things, and I don't know what's happening in the market, or which stock is, running very hard, or this or that. I get to know, or hear about it too. So,
It's like
sometimes it's
having a
pleasant.
mastermind when you're collaborating with people.
Yeah, yeah. So it benefits all. So again, it is all, right now I haven't thought about anything else. Everyone keeps asking me, are you going to run a service or no? So I'm a little bit still skeptical about running a service or anything. But yeah, it's my all information as of now is all free. Whatever I do, it's all like, you know, just collaborating or sharing what I do. That's all.
Okay. And the best way for people to reach out to you would be with Nargis 007 Secret Agent Woman.
Yes, right
Okay.
here. Yeah, yes,
Okay.
right here.
Nargis 007 is how you reach Nargis, and um, this woman knows how to use a telescope. That's all I could say. So,
Y-
really appreciate you being here today. Did you want to wrap it with anything?
the only thing I would like to say is that since I'm watching the markets closely to see whether we shoot up here, or this would be a turning point here. So if we shoot up here, then the other major stocks have presented themselves with much higher targets as well. We talked about Apple
Yeah,
last time.
yeah,
So 325 to 350 was, I was looking for a turn down, and it did.
yeah.
Apple did we had a nice flush. But if Apple maintains the price above these levels, I expect it to go to 500s at least, based on the cycle pricing. Tesla also, remember Tesla, you had
Yeah,
mentioned, like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So now it did take out the 993, and if it maintains a price above this, we have into 1300s. Amazon is somewhere like, um, at
Struggling
a
a little bit.
conjunction. It is,
Oh yeah,
it's at a
yeah.
conjunction 2705.
Uh-huh.
So I think somebody asked me on Twitter, what do you think about this? And it said this, and right there it had turned down, and it did flush flush nicely, approximately 200 points from there. So again, either it will do 4,000 or 4,100, or down to these levels. So
Okay.
this is.
And you have a bearish call out on Netflix, which has been underperforming.
Yes, so this number has been, I've noticed this area, lot of stocks struggle here, BA literally fell through the roof from here, uh, and it hasn't recovered yet,
Okay.
from there. Quite a few, even Tesla struggled a lot in this area. Now Netflix is struggling. It goes up till here, 337, 441, 445, then pushes
Yeah.
down. But if it, for goes above here and maintains above here, then we have targets into 700s.
Okay.
So
All
of
right.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. So that's all I was saying is, if this wants to be on the upper side of on this upper area, then all this may still work out.
Okay. Mr. Buttons is a big fan of yours, he just said. Do you
Oh,
know
really?
Mr. Buttons?
Oh, Mr. Buttons, yes, yes. He
Yeah.
is also, I think, came into my Discord room. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
and Yes, so
He's
apparently,
married to Mrs. Zipper,
oh,
Mr.
okay.
Buttons and Mrs. Zipper.
Oh,
So
yeah. I get you
anyway,
now. Okay.
anyway, Nargis, great to see your work. Um, you have an affinity towards it, so I'm sure you're helping other people. And uh, thanks again for bringing your numbers and some important technical levels for us all to pay attention to.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Dale.
it.
Always a pleasure talking to you, and thanks for having me. Have a great day, and hopefully, all of us, recover nicely from this COVID-19, safe,
Yeah,
healthy, with our jobs all intact, the economy all good. That's all we pray for. I mean, markets are there; they'll be here. But the mental
right.
health and the stress levels,
Yeah,
we should all come out as a winner out of all this.
a great way to end this interview on with hope.
Yes.
And thank you. I'm hopeful you'll return next time I invite you. And thank you, my trading warrior sister, for edifying our community today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale, and have a nice day.
Okay. Thank you. That's Nargis, everyone. Don't forget to count. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Adios. You're very welcome. Thanks again, Nargis, and see
Thank you.
everyone tomorrow.